Some business owners are not shady business owners.
Yes.
They got a project to ESCOM. Little did he know that this business partner used fake documents.
Make sure that you know who you are getting in business with. Now, if you don't check who you are dealing with, you might also be killing your business. And treat it as importantly as winning the bid. Because you might win the bid with the wrong person and the win is a loss.
Let's talk the banking, cash in transit,
Yes.
and the likes. That's a very niche market.
I will be very unpopular. I never believed for any reason that there's anything niche. Anybody who has the information and who has the capability can run any business.
Do you think there's enough black representation in the cash in transit?
From an
business?
ownership perspective, no.
Is it difficult to enter that market?
The difficulty around it is because it's a capital intensive business. It is becoming more and more expensive to move cash. Now it becomes expensive to get these guys to guard the money and move your money around. So what they would previously charge you per kilometer to move your money around safely has gone up. If you're not successful on a tender, if you're not successful on a proposal, you do have the right to call the business that you're dealing with and ask for a debrief. And then they'll give you pointers where you were not successful. And then you need to come back and work on those pointers. And you'll probably start winning business there and somewhere else because of the debrief session. But what we do, we neglect those sessions. We say, I didn't get it. You move on. You make the same mistake.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Procurement Dialogues, and I'm your host Lerato Sebata. We are back after a power-packed Tender Success Summit. If you were not there, guys, you missed out. We're gonna do like a nice insert so that you see how it was, what went down. We had such a beautiful event, and I do want to say thank you to everybody that made it. We hope to see you next year. We're actually gonna have a few, workshops that just unpack some of the things which was discussed at the summit. So if you missed out, just look out for some of the work that we'll be doing online. And I'm also happy to be back on the seat interviewing our favorite guests. And we have a special episode today. So we have Obakeng Senne, who is the economist and a seasoned procurement expert in different commodities, That's what I can say, ne?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am great, and I must echo your sentiments around the Tender Summit.
Yeah.
Super successful.
Yeah.
Great work. Lovely. I loved it.
Thank you so much. You know what? We call this a special episode because you founded the Drive Network.
Correct.
Future Leaders.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you're also doing marvelous work within the supply chain.
Correct.
So people in our platform want to know a lot about what's behind the scene.
Yes.
Behind procurement. They obviously want to win, they want to qualify. And you are a big advocate also for that.
Absolutely.
For empowerment, for growth. Maybe if you can just share just a little quick experiences that you've seen for small business, the difference between SME and growing businesses, so that one can appreciate what the difference is and then how they can be able to get onto opportunities for procurement.
Correct. So I think for me, and thanks for that, for me mostly is around when you structure a small business, the key things is normally around financial literacy as well. The way we manage our business accounts, we cannot qualify directly into audited financial statements and all those lovely things. However, there's management accounts and there's your bank account that we probably use, for example, for your daily routines. You buy bread, you go to the shops. Financial literacy, budgeting, how you cost your services. Those are the key things that are missing. And then I think the other key one would also be compliance. We hardly keep our compliance document in check. You find that your tax clearance is expired, your triple BE is not valid, and at the time you are actually getting an opportunity and you need to bid, but you do not have the required compliance documents that you need at the particular time.
Yeah.
That's predominantly for startups and smaller, more we call them EMEs.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you transition into QSEs, then you start now thinking about people that are talking more around being around a comfort of, particularly if you look at people that are maybe in a ESD development program, they are in a comfort maybe of a cushioned pricing, because then you would find that the pricing is a bit relaxed. It's a bit more than the competitive market. And then we build a transition whereby you get used to it. And fast forward to 5 years after the program, you need to start competing. And now competing becomes a bit difficult because that cushion pricing has been enjoyed for a long time. And maybe let me pause there for now.
Okay, so what I'm getting from what you're saying is that if you're a small growing business, the focus is around compliance, getting things right, done, wanting to get opportunity.
Correct.
Once you've now passed that stage, you are now having business, you want to grow beyond, from just being a small to medium, then you are competing differently.
Absolutely.
Because then you are now comfortable with the price. Now you must think, how do I do sustainable business?
Yes.
And.
And the other things to add as well, it would be founder dependence, especially when you're in the QSE side. You need to now start thinking of ways of how you build systems to help you be more efficient, to help your business operate in your absence, right? Because you don't want to be self-employed anymore. You want to be able to transition your business into more of what we call a corporate, where you want to transition it rather to a more larger enterprise. Some of them will call it generic, but you want that to be able to have systems. You want it to be able to have processes. You want to lean towards using AI as well to help you be more efficient. And then your business then operates in your absence, and maybe qualify yourself as a chairman,
But for some people, they want to understand, we keep saying build systems, build processes. What are those?
Yeah.
Tangibly, can you explain, what do you mean build systems, build processes?
Yeah. So essentially, a process is very simple. You don't need an expensive, known brand that builds systems to start first. A process for me is predominantly how you say, from A to Z, this is how we get there as a company. As a company, if you want to, for example, go and procure tea and coffee for your small, medium company, you say our process is that we go out to the market with minimum 4 or 5 suppliers. We do a competitive bidding process, and this is how we evaluate the bids that come in. We look at price, we look at BEE, we look at tax clearance. Now you are building a process. So anybody that has to buy your tea and coffee on that particular day, whether it's Lerato or Obakeng, there is a process that the company follows. Now, that's a process that we're talking about, because even when Lerato is not there tomorrow, there's business continuity, because there's a written down flow to say this is how we do things. And then as soon as everybody understands that process, later on you graduate into putting that into a digital platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So you have experience in different sectors.
Absolutely.
Banking, transport, and logistics. You said
Engineering,
mining also?
So I've done quite a lot.
Yeah.
I won't mention the companies,
Yes.
but it's more around transport, logistics, IT, facilities, CIT, business, post devices. It would have been engineering as well. So I've predominantly been around various commodities and categories, if we can call that.
Nice.
Call it that, yeah.
Now we want to put you on the spot. So since you've had experience in those type of different sectors, being in procurement, what has been the common theme that you've seen that either disqualifies people to participate in those, opportunities, or they were running and unfortunately something they're not aware of that is disqualifying the bids? Yeah, from your experience.
From an experience perspective, and obviously with appreciation of the different categories and industries, one of them would have been safety, quality, and for example, if you look at transport, if you run maybe let's say energy business, you need to have squash, you need to have RTMS, you need to have systems that QMS systems, quality management systems, you need to have vehicle monitoring cameras. Those are things that disqualify a lot of people in terms of qualification, because we look at technical qualification first, right? We graduate you. Then moving into more of the soft things, then would be finance, and it would be compliance. Now, in procurement, in strategic sourcing, we now do what we call a due diligence. Some of them call them enhanced due diligence. When you come to the due diligence side, that's where a lot of business starts getting a bit uncomfortable, because I'm asking you now for your audited financial statements. You tell me, why are you looking for that? But I need to evaluate financially. Am I dealing with somebody who's going to be there tomorrow after I award them? Is this somebody who can carry my business with the service? And then we also go deeper and say, we want to know who your UBOs are. These are ultimate beneficiary owners of your business. We say, give me your ID for the ultimate beneficiary owners. They're like, why are you asking for that? We want to go look into the owners, the actual ultimate beneficiary owners. What have they been doing? Have they been in a crime? Have they been doing fraud? Are they politically exposed? We need to understand who we doing business with. So it's those key things that business people would then start being a bit uncomfortable. And with larger enterprises as well, you find that these ultimate beneficiary owners are now structured into trusts. Now we say, if the trust owns more than a certain percentage of this business, we also want to tap into the trust. We need to understand
Who are the
beneficiaries there, who is facilitating this trust, who's running it. So most business then become a bit uncomfortable and say no. And when you drag time, because remember, procurement, or when you go out for a competitive bidding process, it's not going out for going out. There's a strategy behind it. There's a business we're running. As soon as you start delaying, you then delay the business for us to also make profit. And maybe the last one is key clauses in the contract. There are companies that have material clauses that they don't necessarily have time for you to do a back and forth on. If we know that a minimum value per incident, for example, of liability in this particular industry is this much, and you coming and negotiating it, we're talking to the wrong person. We move right along. So those are the various high-level key elements.
I want us to unpack the second and the third one, because for someone who you can appreciate they don't do it every day, they probably want to have a little bit of a depth understanding. The enhanced due diligence. There's the first due diligence with the submitting your company profiles, APC, and the like. Now the enhanced one, it is to check the third-party risk assessment.
Correct.
Right? Which then includes who are the directors in your business, beneficiary owners, and tell me, why is that done? If you're gonna dig further down, let's just say, then what else can you find? Or what have you seen that came out that was a risk that then prevented you to continue to award?
So essentially, these activities are done because there's what we call adverse media, and adverse media can be very costly to a business. So and it's a good thing because it touches economics as well, because that's what I've been qualified to do. Once there's adverse media and you're selling a product, that can affect your business negatively. So if I'm running a business and I'm trying to get a third party or a supplier to provide me a service, I at least need to know fully who I'm doing business with, so that I can anticipate anything that can come with it. For example, if you are supporting a certain war maybe at a different country, which is not in favor this side of the world, and I'm doing business with you, the people that I am selling to make a profit might not want to support my product. So if I don't do those checks, I might be killing my business for the cheapest price.
So are you saying, let's say a corporate needs services and I'm the bidding company, you go check my business and looks like I'm in nice running, then you see that the other beneficiary owners I have in my business have an exposure elsewhere.
Correct.
Based on whatever that has happened, then affects me, which is affecting you buying from me.
Correct. And that also comes with qualification and approval internally to say, is this a risk that we can take? And if it's not a risk that we're willing to absorb, then we probably will not look at you, but we'll look at somebody who is maybe, if you were the best technically, for example, if you're at 95%, we would probably be willing to look at somebody who's at 92%, 90%, but has a cleaner due diligence. Yeah.
This part of the video is sponsored by our very own Tender Success Blueprint. This is the only book and a workbook that you will get in South Africa that, of course, teaches you practical ways of doing tendering. If you are somebody who's been wanting to start responding to a bid, responding to an RFQ, you don't know how procurement works, this is the right place for you to start. It is beginner friendly. It is also friendly for those that are becoming a little bit advanced in understanding how to do bid together. And of course, it's trainer ready. So if you're somebody who's doing training, you are working with SMEs, you are doing bid management, you respond to bid administration, this is something that you need to have right next to your desk. Remember, Tender Success Blueprint is the only workbook that you need for your next bid to be able to win. Get it on our website, www.roigroup.co.za. I know what you're talking about because I'm also from procurement, and we've had a similar incident before the corporate I used to work for. And this company did win the bid, and we communicated the win.
Oh, snap.
But then, because of this thing of rushing fast, the only third-party assessment was done later on. So during onboarding of this.
Correct.
And then that's when they realized the adverse media thing, that the chairman had an issue with some of the previously whatever, which is included being investigated by SIU.
Yes.
And now he had to track back. You see. So it's interesting to know that businesses need to understand the depth of this thing.
And I like what you're saying, because not only businesses, but also corporates need to have full appreciation. Because I think third-party risk assessment was a new thing at the time, right? And people left it for later on. But it also becomes tricky for a big corporate to award and then say, I need to come back because of 1, 2, 3. But then if you embed it in your process earlier on, where you are probably close to knowing before award, but you probably know that this guy is the guy. Then you run it before you communicate award, because then getting out of it is a lot easier as opposed to having already communicated that, Lerato, you are the successful candidate.
Sure.
But now we can't award because your background.
Yeah. But now what can businesses do to prevent that? Because I genuinely think some business owners are not shady business owners.
Yes.
Because an opportunity comes, there is now a need for me to partner, to look for joint venture and the likes. And there's a guy I also interviewed here before who had been in a similar situation where they got a project to ESCOM and they were doing big project there.
Correct.
Unfortunately, only 6 to 8 months later, there was a whistleblowing thing, investigation, audit, and then they removed them offsite. Little did he know that this business partner used fake documents and was involved elsewhere.
Correct.
And I think sometimes the intention is not. So my question then is, since you come from procurement perspective, what do you think are some of the interventions or what businesses should do to not find themselves in those type of shoes?
So for me, it's also the same advice to businesses, right? To say, when you are undergoing a due diligence, it's an expectation for you to get work. You would also run the same high standards for people that you subcontract, for people that you JV with. Make sure that you know who you are getting in business with. Appoint a specific service to run your own due diligence, to check if this person, because you're also running a business. Now, if you don't check who you are dealing with, you might also be killing your business. So have full appreciation of the business that you are running and treat it as importantly as winning the bid. Because you might win the bid with the wrong person and the win is a loss. Right? So do treat that business as important as it is to win, because it's not just on the winning.
I like that. Yeah. As important as it is to win.
Yes.
That's very smart. So now you did mention other commodities that you, let's talk the banking, cash in transit,
Yes.
and the likes. That's a very niche market, and probably very less black participation in
Yeah.
that space. Yeah.
Being a SME champion, I will be very unpopular about my beliefs around this particular sector, right? Or rather, the word niche. I never believed for any reason that there's anything niche.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because having progressed in this career of mine, being in procurement, it became evident who is not given the opportunity, who has the network, who gets the funding, right? And when you drill deeper into it, because this is lived experience, it's no more theoretical, right? You then get to see that most of these SMEs, they probably have the capability, but it's in the support and in the information sharing. So if you drill deeper into any niche service, the people that run the operations, you leave skin, you leave color, you leave the transformation talk, but it's individuals, whether black or white, and they have full appreciation of the service. Now, when you bring it back into the business side, there's nothing niche. Anybody who has the information and who has the capability can run any business. Now, coming back into the cash space, for example, that's a sunset business, and the volumes are declining every year because we're moving into more a digital space. But cash will always be there. So what's happening in the business today is that it is becoming more and more expensive to move cash. Now it becomes expensive to get these guys to guard the money and move your money around. So what they would previously charge you per kilometer to move your money around safely has gone up, right?
Sure.
But it doesn't still mean that there can be transformation in the business. We just need to understand what is the lifespan of this particular business and where is this particular business going in future? Will there be smaller cars operating or will there be no cars operating? Because the big guys that are in this business, they are not in the office today preparing that in 5 years will be closed. They are preparing that in 5 years, because it's a sunset business, we'll have to do things differently. So now what we need to do is we need to be deliberate about enterprise development programs that involves SMEs that were previously disadvantaged into this sector and take them through a journey which the sunset business is going through. Whether the journey is moving into smaller cars or moving the money with a pipe, they need to get into that.
So I like that lengthy explanation. I think it gives a nice overall broad context. So do you think there's enough black representation in the cash in transit
From
business?
an ownership perspective, no.
No.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to enter that market?
So the difficulty around it is because it's a capital intensive business, number one. And then the other, I would say, difficulty, because for me, like I said, I don't think these businesses will close. As much as it's a sunset, it's becoming more and more expensive. But there are willing buyers because there'll always be cash. So if whether the service is 5 rand today or 10 rand tomorrow, if there are buyers, then we need to get people involved in this business. Yeah.
So, like you said, that things are getting more digital and digital.
Yes.
From experience now managing that commodity, what would you say are the bottlenecks or the pitfalls, at least from what you've seen?
So for now, it would be a high level, because I don't want to drill deep into it.
Yeah.
It would be safety.
Okay.
The crime rate is high, and you will see with the hijacking of these vehicles, money, insurance is very high on this business. For me, those would be the concerns. I think that the safety around it, and because of the crime in the country, that would be maybe one high level one with a filtered mind that I want to.
But do you genuinely think that procurement can do something around black transformation in
this space?
In the space.
No, definitely. And I think for me, transformation and involvement can be done in any commodity. Any commodity. It can be done. Because remember, the idea around that is to do a skill transfer. And if you go into any commodity, any corporate, the people in the department are from various races. And all of them are put in the department because of qualification and capability to produce the results. So transformation can be done in any commodity for me with the right support.
All right. So let's bring it back now to procurement in general, from all the categories that you've handled, the commodities. And some people win contracts, lose them, they don't get renewed. What could be the reason? What are some of the common themes that you see that causes that?
So I think for me, it's also more around appreciation that as much as we do business as business people, every business, every industry has a different way of evaluating. And you would look at commodities, for example, like transport. When you evaluate, you look at the technicalities, the safety, the health, you look at contract management, you look at price. You combine that together, you get an award. If you go to IT, you're looking at something completely different. So it's more of appreciation of what is the industry-specific evaluation criteria that people are looking for. When you prepare that bid, you prepare it according to that. And then I think that also, what I always say to a lot of businesses, do not be shy to request a debrief. If you're not successful on a tender, if you're not successful on a proposal, you do have the right to call the business that you're dealing with and ask for a debrief. And then they'll give you pointers where you were not successful. And then you need to come back and work on those pointers. And you'll probably start winning business there and somewhere else because of the debrief session. But what we do, we neglect those sessions. We say, I didn't get it. You move on. You make the same mistake.
But sometimes procurement doesn't want to give the debrief. They give a very high level debrief.
So it shouldn't be the case. I am one of the few people, I've done it recently with a huge corporate where I've taken them step by step. Because remember, we're saying that we're running a transparent process. We're running a fair process. We're running a process that is not biased. So if it's not biased, you need to be able to speak to it completely. You're not going to show me Lerato's numbers. You're not going to show me how they came in, but you're going to be able to speak about my evaluation. If you've said BE, price, technical, safety, you need to tell me on the safeties portion, why did I get 25%? On BE, why did I get 5 out of 30. You need to be able to give me that feedback to say, Obakeng, on your BE side, your management portion is not up to par. You've lost points here. On the pricing side, you are not that terrible. You are actually competing closely with the guys. But then you look at your technical, you did not have QMS, and hence why you scored this much. So it should be about me and not showing me other people, because that's also not correct.
Okay. So then why do you think the ones that have had the contract, and then obviously there's probably a new tender that's going to
Correct.
And then, yes, they rebid and they don't get it.
Yes.
But some, it's not even about bidding. The issue of them even losing a contract from a performance perspective.
Correct.
Can you share your experience and what you've seen play out?
So there's various things. One easy one would be performance, where you have not been performing. And naturally in any contract, when you don't perform, there's that remediation process within the contract where they give you a period to improve your SLAs and they go through the journey with you. And if you're not taking that, I'm obviously running a service on the back end and I cannot do with your poor performance. Right? So
the poor performance on contracts is obviously different from employee performance. Ne?
Yes, definitely.
What have you seen as poor performance? Like, what have you heard? Besides the straightforward SLA 10% for IT project is straightforward.
Correct.
But others, what does poor performance look like?
So for me, I'll use a simple example. Let's go to telecoms, where we say the contract is for us to get calls. If you are a provider for me to make calls, if I'm trying to make calls and your network is down and I pick up the phone and I log a call, and you are supposed to help me in 2 hours for a priority 1 call, and you help me in 5 hours, I'm not happy as a client. I start documenting that. Where you have monthly sessions, quarterly sessions, we bring that back to you. You need to remediate and do something about it. If you don't do anything about it, I'm not being able to service my clients in terms of doing calls. I can't reach my targets. So I document the journey, and that's performance. But then the more interesting ones as well is that, remember, the market changes every time. And as a supplier, as much as I've got a 3-year contract with Lerato, I need to keep myself abreast of time and understand what's happening, right? So if I'm in the motor industry, I also appreciate that, okay, now we're doing ICE engines and we're transitioning into EV, which are electric and hybrid. If I'm keeping ICE, somebody else is moving into hybrid and can offer Lerato a better product. So come the end of 3 years when I'm doing a tender, you coming back and you're offering me an ICE engine and I'm looking for a hybrid this time. You're not going to get the work. So even within your contract, we look at things like value adds. We look at things like optimization. Don't win the contract and put it away. Win the contract, understand what the market is doing, come back to Lerato as your person who's giving you the contract. You say, Lerato, I know that we've been awarded for this, but I think we can optimize to make you realize more value in this contract by doing 1, 2, 3. Remember, when I give you a contract, you are the subject matter expert. I'm not the subject matter expert. You enabling my business to perform better. So you need to continuously look for value that you can give me. And it becomes an easier discussion for Obakeng to extend your contract when we go back. Because remember, I have an option to go to market, or I have an option to motivate that within the 3 years, I contracted on the ICE engine. But come year 2, Lerato realized that the market moved to a hybrid engine, came to me. She's given me the offer that's out there in market, and I'm still happy and comfortable. And then I motivate, I give another 3 years. So don't win the contract and forget about it. Keep yourself abreast of your industry, and you are the subject matter expert. I came to you because I trust you with the knowledge.
True. Do you have any live example that you have experienced where you saw a business lose a contract and that pained you, whether it was a small business or growing business?
So we have, definitely.
To share a real life story.
This is where a business had a beautiful opportunity, where this was a properly structured ESD program. And this was an ESD program which was facilitated lending. Facilitated lending is where we say, we the organization, bank come here, take money away from us, give this guy a loan to get these assets, and we're going to make them our supplier and they're going to repay us. So we paying you to repay us anyway. Facilitated. Great support in terms of mentorship, mentee relationship, and the business went ahead and sold assets without the corporate knowing and lost the business. A classic example.
So the owner sold the...
Yes, the beneficiated assets.
So you also lost?
So from our side, we had a great plan because we did have a few of these players, right? But it was a big loss for the particular person. We don't know what's the driver behind that, but it's a perfect opportunity lost. Very painful, because we know that these are not opportunities that everyone gets.
So maybe practicalize it. Make an example. Yeah.
So no, go. Yeah.
Practicalize it, because me and you understand terminologies.
Yes.
But some may not appreciate the terms.
Yes.
You appointed 20 service providers to be in a enterprise supply development.
Yes.
I'm providing a pest control.
Yeah.
And then you need to buy me equipment for the pest control. So then I get funded 10 million. Well, they mean 2 million. Explain it like that.
So you've said it already.
Yeah.
You've said it. So now we've bought you equipment for pest control, for example, and you are running a successful business. But Lerato wakes up tomorrow with this equipment and says, I'm going to sell this equipment. I'm not going to tell the people that run me through this program. I'm just going to sell it and disappear.
Yeah. That's sad.
Painful, because that's a beautiful opportunity. And if you look at the guys that were in the same program, they have graduated to being QSEs, to being large enterprises in a very short space of time.
Would you say there is value with enterprise supply development?
If done correctly.
Yeah.
If it's not done as a tick the box exercise, if it's something that's done properly with tangible, I like tangible things, then there is benefit to it with properly structured programs and managed to see it out. And the key thing around these programs as well is always around the dependency. And I like to stress this part, because in these programs, remember, if I grow you as a beneficiary, you have business from me today. And to some certain extent, we lock you into our business only for a few years of this, because we want you to be fully concentrated and make sure that you understand and appreciate this business. However, when we start jumping into the third, fourth, depending on which year you think is suitable for the particular commodity. Some commodities is 8 years, 5 years, some is 3 years. Where you think this person now is running this business successfully, you need to encourage them to start getting business elsewhere. Because now, if your business is 100% dependent on my business only, if my business dies, whatever we've done trying to build you has done nothing for the economy, because your business is also going to die. But if we stress this management of the dependency ratio to make sure that at a certain stage of the beneficiary contract, we try and graduate you easily out of our dependency to say, support you to get business somewhere, show you the business development techniques that you can apply. And then you start running your business with 1, 2, 3, 4 clients, then you have a successful business. If my business dies, I can still be able to say, we've built a successful business. It's still operating.
And the KPIs that we have as a tangible, successful ESD is being able to see revenue change.
Yeah, revenue, it's impact, where Lerato can also create jobs. For me, if you start creating permanent jobs, you are helping the economy. It's no longer just about you alone. Where we're building legacies. We're not building individual glory. Where we say, this is the only guy who's got the ESD, he's only making money. But he's appointed 20 people. You are contributing positively to the economy. These 20 people support 5 families behind them. They go to school. They do a proper impact to the broader economy.
Nice. The ESD topic can go on forever.
Forever.
Now let's talk. You are passionate about QSEs, qualifying suppliers.
Absolutely.
Right? So in terms of the band between businesses that are making 10 million to 50.
Yeah.
I know from procurement perspective, there is a lack of targets being met, especially for female QSEs. And only particular commodities, maybe you may tick, some don't. And you have a drive that you're doing with the product. Can you tell us more about that?
So I do have a QSE Business Summit that we are hosting on the 25th of July at Melrose. It's Melrose Arc. Some people say Arc, some people say Arch. And you can determine which school you come from.
I also prefer Arc.
So it is in Melrose, the venue, and we are hosting 80 QSEs. And we're predominantly focusing on QSEs because this is a very promising and yet very tricky segment or band to be in, because now you are making between 10 to 50 million and your next transition is to be a large enterprise. But then most of the time, if you just talk about QSEs that have arrived in this band because of a beneficiary project or program, they have been enjoying high prices, and now they need to compete with bigger guys. When they move, it becomes a problem to graduate into that segment, right? However, there's also a key founder dependency where we're saying we don't want to build QSEs that when you pass tomorrow, your business is gone. The family cannot continue. We want to help them be able to understand, how do you transition into a corporate where your business operates and still makes profit without you being there? Processes, systems, use of AI. So we'll have a panel of executive, what do you call them? Executive procurement people, CPOs, heads of procurement, where they'll be talking about the different evaluation methodologies that we look at for different commodities as business enablement. And we'll talk about the challenges that QSCs have to transition into large. We'll have another panel of business owner panels where they'll be able to give you tangible experiences of how they've built businesses, and a CEO of a big corporate, where you can also see how you appoint a CEO into your existing business so that you can remove yourself from the business. And we'll also have a session by a keynote speaker to really motivate the business people, but more around the transformational side of things. And I see myself as a QSE champion, and I believe my purpose is to enable other people to see the best version of themselves.
Love it. This part of the video is sponsored by our very own Tender Success Blueprint. This is the only book and a workbook that you will get in South Africa that, of course, teaches you practical ways of doing tendering. If you are somebody who's been wanting to start responding to a bid, responding to an RFQ, you don't know how procurement works, this is the right place for you to start. It is beginner friendly. It is also friendly for those that are becoming a little bit advanced in understanding how to do bid together. And of course, it's trainer ready. So if you're somebody who's doing training, you are working with SMEs, you are doing bid management, you respond to bid administration, this is something that you need to have right next to your desk. Remember, Tender Success Blueprint is the only workbook that you need for your next bid to be able to win. Get it on our website, www.roigroup.co.za. It is an exciting concept, and I know for sure that market, it's tricky to maintain.
Yeah.
They always say sometimes it's easy to get opportunity, but to do sustainable business, it's something. When I did strategic management, the sustainable strategy is the biggest hard part.
Absolutely.
For a business to exist longer than 100 years.
Yes.
You can imagine big brands that has been there for long, Sunlight, Colgate, the banks.
Exactly.
You have to be very tricky in how you do sustainable strategy. And once you master that and you go into large,
You're gone.
Then you are gone, right? It's a curve to get onto just above 10 million. It's even a stretch a long curve to sustain there. But now, with that event coming in, which I think is very important and critical. Have you had an experience whether you heard or you saw in procurement, a company that was turning over above 10 million fall to the ground like they never existed?
Absolutely. We see this often in procurement, and it's often on the basis of key man dependency, where one lousy example, there was a company at some stage with us alone, they were making 100 million per annum. And these people had graduated through a ESD program, and they did not have a triple BE certificate. And this is one of the challenges again, right? Because remember, as an EME, you do have an affidavit. But now when your business gets serious, now there's
Must
audit.
get the proper...
You need to get an audit. And now once you get the first audit, the second audit, you move into how you hire people, how you contribute to social, to the community. So it becomes a bigger task than it was just on signing an affidavit. But this business did not have a triple B certificate.
So they didn't appoint the verification agency?
Yeah, but it was run by the owner. And the owner said, I'm busy with a family event. And I couldn't fathom that at the time, because I had made the call to say, I need to get a triple B certificate. I'm losing my targets, points. I'm losing my points.
100 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of points.
So it's those things that we want to discuss, to say, build processes.
So meaning, did you terminate the contract in that case?
No. Luckily, we did not. We were but it was a key loss for us. We had to remediate that. But if it's another client they can easily terminate, because particularly as an as a ESD graduate, you need to know the importance of having that. So this is just one simple example, but there are various ones which we will then touch on, particularly to say these are the key things that break you down.
And you can easily miss it. I mean, I've also seen businesses that turn over 5 million, and you can think that it's easy for them to know they must do their compliance check.
Correct.
And they miss updating a BEE on CSD,
Yes.
or attaching it because, oh my God, I forgot. It's especially with an affidavit, you forget, Mr. It's
The
almost
expiry date.
expiring, especially if you don't. Yeah. Sure, I love it. So let's do this in closing. How do people get onto the private sector database?
Yeah.
This is, I'm asking for my people.
Yes. Okay, your people. Yes, the key code.
Please.
So private sector is a bit different. However, I would say as a businessman, the skill is the same. How you obtain your client, the skill is the same. So with my experience in private sector, it's never the procurement guys that you need to run around for. It's never the procurement guys. And if you can take it from me to you, the guys that you need to run behind is the business owners. If you are in a business of, let's say, technology and IT and digital, you need to understand in the corporate that you want to do business with, who is the head, who is the person that's leading the digital strategy.
The end user.
The end user. Go to them, build a relationship with them, give them a proposal, show them what you can do for them. Understand them first, right? Understand what are the key challenges, do your research, and then propose, because there's an entry in terms of a proof of concept. You can do a paid one, you can do a free one. You can go and do that. And as soon as that's done, then there's graduation of either testing the market or motivating that they keep your business to do that. So you bother them, you offer them a proposal that they cannot resist. And guess what? When they come to procurement, they advocate and say, we want to onboard this supplier because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they've realized value. The other one is just to wait for RFPs and bid for them. But that's not proactive. That's reactional. Be proactive, target the business owners and build relationships with them. Go and show them what you can do for them after doing research. And trust you me, that will be something that will pay off.
True. I like that. And I think as procurement, you facilitate, don't make decisions.
Correct.
You influence. However, business-led is the solution, right?
Absolutely.
So do you think there's hope for Black entrepreneurs to really make it with procurement systems and processes just the way things are?
There is hope. It's going to take time. The transition is happening. We need to keep our procurement people learned, educated. It's not, procurement is a strategic function. Procurement is a key tool to economic inclusion. It's a key tool to transformation, and procurement holds the economy. So if you are in procurement and you don't have full appreciation of the economy, you're always going to take us back as a nation, as a country, and as business. But keep yourself abreast, understand the economic dynamics, and understand that you're sitting and facilitating a key economic tool.
True. So procurement is an enabler.
Big enabler, big tool for the economy.
True.
Yeah.
So what would be your parting words?
For the businesses or for the procurement people?
For the businesses.
For the businesses is anchor your business around purpose.
Okay.
I think your purpose should not be a slogan, but it should be your decision filter, right? It will tell, your purpose will make it easy for you to decide what is not right for your business, what deal you need to accept or not accept. And it is often businesses that are driven beyond profit, but build around purpose that can be able to be sustainable and exist for 100 years or more.
Or more. So, yeah, before we just exit, where can people buy tickets or participate at the upcoming QSE event?
Okay, great. There's a number that we are using to filter because we just want, it's the first one.
Yeah.
So we really wary of selective as well because we want it to be meaningful. So if we can put it down there, I'll give it to you. They contact that number and there will be a person that's facilitating, giving them the information and they can get the ticket.
Sure.
Yeah. And it is about 50% sold. So they need to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
The 25th of July.
Absolutely.
And in Melrose. Thank you so much, Obakeng, for coming, for embracing us with your expertise and knowledge. I think such things, they go very far. We underestimate somebody else on the other side, not knowing or understanding. That's the function around procurement, enablement, what they need to do to look into where are opportunities, how can I tap into them, where am I just being disqualified? I think some people understand that enhanced due diligence, it's a real thing. I obviously know because I come from that environment.
Correct.
But as a general business person, we don't do the due diligence. As important as it is to win the bid, I think that's a big tick.
Yes, absolutely.
I stole that slogan. But yeah, shout out to you and thank you so much for making it. And I will be at the
No, definitely,
event, right?
definitely. You've got no other place you will be.
We'll put a poster so that people see it. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much. Guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.